back. It's been a bit of a minute, eh? And it feels like it was more than due time to actually put on another live stream. And I'm glad that any of you could stop by even for a few minutes, drop a line. That'd be super duper. But I want to talk about some of the cheap luxury cars that you can actually afford. And, there's a reality that a lot of people think that luxury means luxury spend, but there are lots of luxury cars out there now that don't necessarily cost, two arms and three legs. A lot of those vehicles now are actually quite affordable on the used market and reasonable to actually own from a maintenance perspective. So welcome back, everybody, and great to see you all on this live stream. It's been a bit of minutes. So I do want to talk about some of the most affordable, best used luxury cars that you can buy. I just actually released my main video, the long form video, over on Exotic Car Play Place. And you want to head on over there because that's a great video. I just popped out today where I'm sharing what's going on. Like today's new release over on Exotic Car Play Place is a great summary of some of those most affordable, best used luxury cars. Yes, you can afford a luxury car on a budget. That's right. I've had comments on that video already about, champagne taste on a beer budget, but it actually doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And I want to talk about today, some of the best used luxury cars that you can buy and for affordable money, because again, something worth looking at. If you want to go check out Exotic Car Play Place, check out the main channel there. I actually have a great video that outlays the years and the make and model that you should be buying. There's a good list there, probably 10 or 15 cars that I listed that are actually very affordable. And the best thing is, a lot of those actually come with warranty because they're new enough. So I picked apart, I went through the Trader and I looked on Car Gurus and Auto Trader, and I found a list of vehicles that were 22, 23, 24 model years in the luxury car segments that still have warranty or potential warranty. So it's definitely worth a look over on Exotic Car Play Place. So if you're noticing, if you didn't get a chance to go watch that video, be sure to do that. But I want to talk about, first of all, thanks for joining along, everybody. Appreciate it. It's an absolute glorious afternoon. The sun's shining, the birds are chirping, watering the grass. Things are absolutely wonderful. Hi, Rocky. Welcome, or watching from Toronto. Great to have you there, Rocky, for sure. And great to see you back. And I appreciate you dropping in. And, not sure if there's anything in particular you've been looking at, maybe even Rocky, for luxury cars. I want to kind of throw this out there because luxury cars get a bad name. And, car brands like Mercedes, BMW, I've talked about them for a long, long time on the channel. And some of them get a bad rap. But it's not always the brand. It's sometimes specific models. Sometimes it's specific engines. And so it's always worth maybe shopping around. And that's what the channel Exotic Car is about. I do like to share some of those good and the bad and the ugly. But there are some great used luxury cars that you can still get for under $20,000, $25,000 and even less. And a lot of them actually even have warranty. That's the beauty. So again, if you haven't been over there, check out Exotic Car Play Place. My release today, my video release that I dropped today, absolutely great banger. Definitely, I know not a lot of people have seen the video yet, but it's something you're definitely going to want to see because it has some great content over there. So be sure to go over there, take a look, and watch to the end because there's some real winners there. But you know what? Driving a luxury car doesn't mean, like I had a viewer on that video that said, he said, would you believe it? It's like having champagne on a beer budget. And that's funny. I agree. Like there is an element. And watching from Uganda. Hi, how's it going? Great to have you there, and I appreciate you actually stopping by, taking some time out to listen to the live stream. And as well, Timeless Sky says, hey, Calgary, what are your thoughts on the new Porsche Cayenne? What are some of the issues on the older ones? Porsche Cayenne, I like the Cayennes a lot. I actually like the Macans better, but the Cayennes, my wife likes more. The Cayennes are a nice, luxurious vehicle. As you've noticed, probably if you've been shopping, you probably see the Cayennes are heavily based on a lot of other products you're finding in the VAG group. From Audi has products that are like that, like the Q8s and the SQ8s, and Lamborghini as well. And there's a lot of manufacturers that are rolling over Even the Atlas and Volkswagen is loosely based on a similar chassis. But I think they're great, and the Cayennes I would certainly buy. Now that said, every generation now. You're asking about the older ones. There were some older ones that had issues with the big thing, of course, being oil leaks and coolant leaks. That's not uncommon. I know that's a general term, but generally speaking, the Cayennes got better with age. So what I'm going to say about the Cayenne is, depending on the year that you're looking at, I would strongly suggest getting the newer the better. They are better. Stay away from the naturally aspirated ones unless you get that V6 with the manual. Remember the older ones? They're starting to skyrocket in value. So the V6s and a manual are definitely a chosen one these days. It's bizarre, but people are looking for those. Otherwise, I would generally stick with the Cayenne S's. Not so much the turbos, the Turbo S's. Those kind of vehicles are going to come with big performance but big expenses. So that's what I would say. Stick with the middle of the road. Same with the Macans. Middle of the road always wins the race. Don't go with the base Macan. They have a Volkswagen engine. Go with the Macan S. It's very much like Audi's SQ5. Those are the best ones there too. So Rocky, missed out on those bargain price luxury cars from the 60s. Yeah, no doubt about it. Good afternoon from Lakeland. Hey, good to hear from you again, Kevin. Hey, sorry it's been a bit there, Kevin. I know it has been a little bit. We've been, punching out a lot of great content on the channel, and definitely been working on that. And I haven't been able to sit down and have a good live stream, but I'm glad to hear from you, and it's great to see. How are the weather out there? I'm actually probably, I would say, probably in a couple months, I'm heading to Florida. We're going to be in the Orlando area, probably in the beginning of December sometime. And I just wanted to throw that out there. Exact dates yet to be determined, but we're going to be heading down there sometime in December to Florida. And like I said, Orlando, do some rides. We got some friends and relatives that live out there, and we're going to take a trip. We know it starts to get cold and snowy around here those times, so we want to get out of here for that time of the year. But yeah, great to hear from all of you. Something I kind of want to mention, is there an equivalent B58 engine used by Benz? Yeah, there kind of is. And so, the engines that you're finding in the AMG cars, the C43, the C43 AMG, or the GLC 43, or any of those 43 designations from, say 5 years ago, those are the engines you want. That 3-liter V6 has a very comparable performance level, and it's actually one of Benz's more reliable powertrains. So if I could suggest, and actually did a video recently about that, some of the best luxury engines, luxury car engines, that's one I would definitely give a look. If you haven't looked at it already, I would strongly advise taking a look at, anything with that C43. I actually, we're rocking the C300 in our Mercedes. And, I had some videos recently where I kind of talked about that. And the only regret we have is, the reliability is marginal. But honestly, if I truly, knowing what I know today, I probably would have stepped into the C43 instead of the C300. We currently have the C300. It's decent economy, decent to buy into, but the C43 is all. And to see the other win with the C43 over the C63, C63 is a hotter engine with that 4-liter V8 twin turbo, but the problem with the C63 is it's rear-wheel drive. And for people like us who live in the northern climates, we get snow and we get some crappy weather, that's where the C43 finds that sweet spot. It's kind of like the B58, right? You can get the AMG, you can get the M cars in BMW, like the M3, M4, but most of them, with the exception of a few specific ones, are generally rear-wheel drive. So it doesn't make it very good for winter. But that's where getting into the B58 and get, like the, some of the, the C-Class cars in the Mercedes, or even BMW in the 3 Series, 4 Series, like the 440s, 430s, give you that engine. They actually give you that B58, and you can get the all-wheel drive. So that's where I would strongly lean to. If you need a car that's peppy, one of the more reliable drivetrains, And actually it's practical because you can team it up with the all-wheel drive. That's the C43 and the 40 series in BMW. So I kind of hope that spells that out for you. Now, that being said, those aren't necessarily going to come that cheaply. I would say the Mercedes is going to be a little less money. The B58s seem to be holding a pretty good, they're holding a lot of money right now. To get into a nice low mileage, unbeat up 340 or a 440, you're going to pay a premium money for that in BMW world. Benzes, you can get into a C43 for reasonable money, a little bit less money. And then Rocky says, I think everyone should drive a Corolla for winter and drive their luxury cars in the spring, summer, and fall. Yeah, that's kind of how I've always often looked at it. That's why, I'm able to drive a fun car for summer, and you get in, it's always dry, it's clean, the car doesn't have gravel and mess all over it. And it's nice when you need to head to the mall or you need to do that long trip to the other city or the weather's inclement. It's kind of nice to have that car that's maybe a little bit not your mint, not your toy. That's the way I've always done it. That's the way I always see it. But some people, they just want to run the regular, the one car in the family, and it's kind of hard to do that. But if you can afford it, absolutely. My dog, H Splash says, I love the Benz review, CLA and C300, amazing. Well, I appreciate that, and I really do appreciate you stopping by and showing the extra support. Definitely, I wouldn't be living honestly, I truly believe I'm living the dream. I'm able to enjoy talking about cars. One of my most fun things I like to talk about, and doing it with a bunch of passionate car enthusiasts like all of you. It's absolutely amazing. So, any other thoughts? Anybody have any other opinions? That video, which I dropped today on Exotic Car Play Place, you probably want to take a look because it's the affordable luxury cars under 25 grand and they still have warranty. So you may want to give that video a look. Head on over to ECPP and give it a look because there's some great choices in there. And everybody knows, like, even Lexus can come at a cost. But believe it or not, I've got some Lexus vehicles in there. I've got some Mercedes, BMWs. There's actually a pretty good plethora. I've got Audis in there. I would even put Alphas in there too. So if there's any of those fun cars that you like to drive, and you're wondering, like, you're on a limited budget or you don't want to waste all your money, maybe you want to save some of that money for a rainy day, you can get into some of those great cars, and you can do it, on a decent budget. So, I bought 2009 S211 E350. Awesome. I love the E-Class. You can't go wrong with an E-Class ever. Mazda CX-5. No Honda, thank you, from South Africa. The Mazda CX-5, CX-50 are definitely gems. Definitely worth a look. Good afternoon, brother. Ahmed. Hey, good to see you, Ahmed. I know it's been a while. It's been a minute there. Great to have you back. And glad that you guys all stopped by to have a chat. But what are you doing there, bud?
I'm gonna go check them out.
But yeah, you know what? So the question is, can you get into a Porsche? Can you get into something like that for under 25 grand? Well, the fact is, yes, you can. And for luxury cars, Porsche is certainly one of my faves too. You can get into a 996, get into a Boxster 986, Cayman, some of those earlier models. Some of them have that M96 engine. Some of those are a little bit problematic. And you won't get warranty, but they're fun cars. Ahmed, how's the new car? Loving every minute of it, Ahmed, you betcha. For those that are unaware, yeah, the old 296 has been an absolute gem. I love that thing. It has been, now that I've got about 300 miles on it, which is not much. 300 miles. If you want to see more information, go have a look at 6-Speed Reviews. But I love that car. It's spectacular. I mean, it does speak for itself. I know the depreciation's been hurting those cars for a little bit, but they're amazing. So, you know what? We have a special request here. Thank you for your video. I bought an '09 Lexus GX350 4 years ago, and it still runs like new. Oh yeah, absolutely. Shout out for sure. And I appreciate the extra support there. I really, really do. And great on you, because a GS, that's another gem that people didn't recognize until they were gone. And once they were gone, I mean, Lexus had some of the best engines. That 350, 3.5 liter V6 was Toyota Lexus's sweet spot. And great on you for getting that Lexus. And honestly, you really can't go too wrong. A Lexus, other than some of they've got that new 3.4, Lexus is always a great buy. It's reliable, it's fun, and then the GS actually looks sporty. So the GS 350 is actually truly has always made my list of some of the best luxury cars. So good on you, and thanks again for the extra support, and definitely shout out, you made a great purchase, because I would certainly look at buying one of those too. It's practical and it's reliable. Thanks, you deserve it. I appreciate it, Ahmed, I really do. We said, what's my thoughts on the second generation Z4? I love them. I think they're great. You get the better drivetrains in there. It's funny you asked that, because I was out for a walk this morning, and I saw a Z4 today, and I was out cruising around. I was just out going for a hike, and there was a black Z4 hardtop. I think it had the 3.0 in it, so it basically had the 2 liter. Man, that thing was absolutely banging. And the guy had his window down, and I basically tried to shout out, but I don't know if he heard. The traffic was pretty loud. I said, beautiful car. So I love the later generation Z4s, and I think they're underappreciated, and I think they're gems. I really do. The Z3s are a little bit kind of weird and shoe-like, boot-like, but they're still fun, authentic little cars. But I love the Z4, so definitely a great buy, and you can get some good deals. Thanks there, Dan, for sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate all the support, all you guys. It means a lot. And then I also have a NIDA first car for my son, 4,000 budget. Please help, and thanks. Love your content. You know what? I'm glad you're asking that. You probably won't find luxury, but for your son, you probably don't want a luxury car. It's going to mean more gas, more insurance costs, and expensive maintenance. But for $4,000, certainly, I presume you're talking on the U.S. side of the border. We bought our daughter the RAV4. It was an earlier generation, means it's not the latest and the greatest, but they're kind of sought after. We had to search high and long and low for that. But I would strongly suggest look at a RAV4. RAV4s are some of the best. And some guys are going to say, well, some of them had bad piston rings. Some people are going to say they had this and that. They're still a reliable car. Civics, reliable car. The best Civic you could get for, it's probably pushing on that price point. We're on the verge of trying to sell our Civic. It's a 2012. But honestly, U.S. side of the border, try to look for a 12 and older with the timing chains and an automatic torque converter auto. Those are good gems. I would strongly suggest older Civic, older RAV4, older Corolla. Those are the best cars I would suggest. Yeah, Yaris, that's a good bet too. You betcha. Hi, what about the Mercedes SL 550 2014? Beautiful cars. Yeah, I would definitely, they are going to come with extra costs for maintenance, for servicing. I like the SL 500s, a little older, a little smaller engine, a little simpler, a little less performance, but they are gems and they're super easy to maintain. And I actually did a video last week about that. Anybody who got a chance to see the best Mercedes-Benz on the channel, ECPP, please do give it, if you guys want to go check refresh, there's a lot of great content over the channel. I know a lot of you haven't been getting notifications. It's unfortunate, but a lot of notifications not going out. I think YouTube's doing something with the algorithm, and they're changing up their sort of their look and design of the platform and trying to focus on the passionate viewers. But in doing so, some of the notifications aren't going out. So I'd give it a look. If any of you haven't been over there, again, today's video release is popping. It's a great video about the best luxury cars under 25 grand, and they still have warranty because they're 22, 23, 24s. But also, yes, I did a Benz. I talked about some of the best Mercedes you can get, and that one's similar to that. Did Canada get the Acura TSX wagon? No, I don't believe we got the wagon. The TSX is a great car, but I don't think we got the wagon. I've got a, what is this, Civic? Put extra, what is that, insulation in the roof, under the headliner. Yeah, I mean, Civics, they are a little tinny. They're a little thin and a little hollow, but Civics are great cars. Again, it all comes down to how much your budget is and what are you willing to tolerate for the driving experience. Base Civics, LXs, CXs, LS, DXs, pretty basic cars, but they're cheap for maintenance and they'll last forever. So Civics, you can't go wrong. And if you can keep them on the road, the longer the better. And yeah, you can't go wrong with a Civic. So anyway, good job on that. And again, I guess a general question. Any of you have been to the channel lately? I feel like I haven't seen a lot of the familiar faces. It's great to see some of you on the live streams. It's really nice to have some of you back that I know some of you haven't been getting, like I said, getting the recommendations or suggestions or notifications. But yeah, if you haven't, be sure to stop by Exotic Car Play Place again. But some of the best affordable luxury cars. Lexus. Some of the base trim, the UX models. You know, they're little, essentially rebadged Corolla. Those are great cars. Over on today's video, you're going to want to check that out. I get in a little more detail. You've got a Civic and a DX. Yeah, absolutely. They're great cars, 100%. I love the Civics. They're great. Other great cars that actually will fall under 25 grand, affordable luxury cars. Have you given, you know, a Lexus ES model, 300H hybrid? You know what? Some of those with a few miles you can find for under 25 grand. Other great cars. You can get Alfa Romeo, not Tonales, Giulias. And you can find some of those, you know, a few miles on them. And they're actually reasonably reliable. Like they're not reliable. They're not Civic reliable. They're not Lexus reliable. But they're not as bad as a lot of people give them credit for. BMW. Actually, there's some great choice in the BMW lineup. If you like BMWs and you don't have more than 25 grand, you can get into some nice BMWs. How about the base trim 22, 23 with the X3 with the B48? How about it's a stretch, but some of the 330s are in that price range with the B48. X1s, X2s with the B48s. Hi from Austria. Great to see you, Primus. You know what? Again, it's great to see you. I know we haven't chatted for a bit, but it's great to see some of the familiar faces and some of the familiar names. So thanks for dropping by. J.O. Gonzo says 2021 BMW 330 B48. Yes, B48. Definitely a great for the win. Definitely one that you can find around that price point, and it's going to be a decent car. You won't find the B58 in anywhere in those price points, but anything in the BMW lineup, more entry-level cars, like I said, X1, 2, 3s, maybe X4s with the B48, you can start to find those in that space. So the B48's a gem. Mercedes and some of their smaller vehicles, the A-Series, A-Class, CLA, GLA, C-Class, GLCs, you know, their small SUVs you can find with their 2-liter, 240 horsepower Turbo 4. You can also find those. Or even the CLA with the 220 horse, GLB, GLA, CLA. Those are all great little options. Some of them will have the dual clutch gearboxes. They're not really the best transmissions, but I would strongly suggest at least taking one for a test drive if you're interested. Audi, look at the A3s. Look at the S3s. You won't get an RS3, but you can get into maybe an S3 with a few Ks. An A3 is a great little gem. Again, Audi VAG, they'll have some of their things, carbon fouling, and they have their issues too, like all of them do. But I mean, let's be frank. It's like what I said before too. Regular non-luxury brands are having problems these days too. So the way I see it, and I truly do believe this. If you enjoy driving and you're driving a non-luxury brand because you feel that it's more reliable, Toyota and Honda have been giving up reliability left, right, and center. Every time you turn, there's new recalls and engine problems. The 1.5 Hondas and the 3.4s and the Toyotas. So if you're going to buy a problematic Toyota or Honda, why not look at one of the better, more reliable luxury brands? That's what I see, and that's the way I'm starting to twist. I'm starting to see the you know, like, if we're worried about reliability, yeah, you traditionally go with the Corollas and you go with the Civics. But those are changing. Those days are changing and times are changing for sure. And so we got to start thinking about, well, do we enjoy our drive, or is it just a matter of just getting to work? Sometimes that drive on the back road and you've got that nice little luxury car can actually be a fun experience. Joe says exactly it, 100%. And Rocky says Buick Park Ave was the all-time luxury car for, yeah, totally. I agree. That 3800, you know, that V6, that 3.8, Rocky, great choice. Those are great engines, you know, and some of GM's engine, when they were putting those engines in some of their cars with that 3.8, there was a time when GM actually kind of had it figured out. Their 4.3 was a gem too. I like their 4.3, not the 2.8, that was kind of a dud, but the 4.3 was also a studly little engine that we had in the S10s and S15s. Those were great. Visani says, how reliable is an Audi Q5 2.0 diesel? Perhaps 5-year-old. Well, what I'm going to start to say is Dieselgate. I'm going to start with that. One comment, Dieselgate. Get around that and emissions and the fibbing that was going on allegedly by Porsche, Volkswagen, Audi, and that whole family. Get past that, and they're good engines. The problem is the emissions and the carbon and the EGR and the DPFs and all of that. So what you're going to find is, you know, you're going to have to deal with issues with some of the carbon. That's always going to be an issue with plugging off, and issues with, you know, check engine lights with miles, because now you're starting to put extra miles on, and you know, these engines. So it's overall a pretty durable engine. But again, start thinking with higher Ks, you're going to have carbon issues. But a lot of them get lots of miles. So I wouldn't be too worried if you find one with, you know, maybe 50, 60, 70,000 miles. Oh, shit, you'll be good for, you know, 120, 150, 200,000 miles with those engines. Easy. So overall, not bad is what I would say. And, you know, overall, I would be willing to advocate for some of those diesels. I was even looking at maybe getting a Jetta diesel here. Try to find with a manual gearbox. That's a real little gem. Cowboy Fan Lucky says, I just bought a 23 Lexus GX, the last V8 for the GX. Great win. For the win. 100%. That's a great one. The GX, 460, 470s, those are great. Trixie says, engines are great on TDI. Is the emissions controls, DPF is expensive to replace. Hot shot every day is a good at it. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Do your maintenance on it. Try to decarbonize those engines. Do your maintenance. Do more frequent oil services is what I would always suggest. Forget about the book. Do them more frequently, and you're gonna have a fun experience, and they'll run forever. Yep, definitely for the win. Cowboy Found Lucky. Yeah, you betcha. Thanks. Appreciate that. And you know, again, it's nice to see all you great viewers again supporting the channel. I really do feel like I'm living my best life. I have a bunch of equal, you know, like-minded car lovers like you guys, like myself. Joe Gonzo again, thanks for all the advice. You betcha. And I try to cover as much in the live streams. I try to kind of touch the surface, and I get into more detail in my videos, the long form, because there I'm able to kind of really express myself. Here I'm trying to go through the comments and get into it, but I'll touch base, and I try to answer all the questions I can here as effectively as I can. But you know what, I really do feel blessed having all of you showing up and watching and supporting. Love your passion. I share in cars, so Visani, yeah, I appreciate that. You know what, and again, I know you guys are all passionate. about these cars and what you drive. And I'd say there's a lot of like Toyota, you know, Corolla and Toyota Prius fans that watch the channel. But let's be honest, the channel is primarily founded on cars being fun to drive. So a Mazda CX-5 is a reliable car, but damn, they're fun to drive for a little SUV. And that's why they make the radar for me. But that's also why I don't talk much about things like Corollas and Priuses, because while they're reliable, they're boring as shit. You look at a car like a Camry, throw the V6 in it, it's actually kind of a fun car. And so that's why that car makes the radar for me. Cowboy Fanluck says, I just started watching your videos and will subscribe to your channel. You offer great material and you're honest with your info. Oh, I really do appreciate that. I really do. And it means a lot to hear that and the support. And welcome to the channel for sure. If you do subscribe, I really do appreciate that. I definitely can, use all the help I can get. But I am speaking from the heart, because there's a lot of noisemakers and rattlers out there that just like to be heard and doing it just, they like to have a presence on social media. I'm living the dream. I'm living this. I've been doing this for 10 years. You don't do this for 10 years, especially when in the beginning, you don't get paid for it. It's just more of a labor of love. I do it because I love talking about cars, and I love to share what I know about wisdom and the best knowledge that I can share with all of you. And I like to do it in a way that's open and honest and transparent. So I really do appreciate the support from all of you. And you know what? It's such a glorious afternoon. What better thing to be doing than hanging out with my good friends here on a live stream, talking about the best cars. Other great cars you can think about maybe buying. I talked as well in that video. Again, if you want to check out that video today over on ECPP that I just released, be sure to stop by, because I talk about those very specific details and some of the affordable luxury cars under 25 grand with warranty that you can still buy. And I get into other vehicles like Lexus, NX, UX, ES. I talk about even Acuras. Acura's got some little gems. I love Acura. How about the Integra? You know what? Sure, the 1.5 has had a few problems along the way, but overall, it's getting a little bit better. Do more oil changes, you're good to go. ML23 says Lexus GS 350. 100%. You betcha. 350 is a great one. The GS is great. Watch Corp. Noctu and the Watch Corp says, hey, brother, love your channel. Local Edmund Chuck. Watch company here. I gave my son tuned 2010 Mazda Speed and picked up a 2019 TLX A-Spec. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Great job on the TLX for the winter. Loving it so far. Great job. And, you are one of those like me. I recognize that Acura is kind of one of these brands that's been flying under the radar. And I hate to say it. I don't know what motivates people. They go out and buy what it seems like the vast majority of buyers are out buying. So they listen to the press. They listen to the J.D. Powers. They listen to the, some of the big ones like Consumers Report and all of those. But a lot of the, Acuras kind of slipped through the cracks, and I don't know why. I think a lot of Acuras are great cars. Have there been a few problems? Sure. 3.5 liter V6 has had a few troubles along the way on the, on the MDX and that. There's been some recalls with some engine troubles, but man, my neighbor's got a 3.5 liter in his Pilot, and I know friends that have the Ridge Lines, and I know friends with Acuras, and they're deadly cars. They just don't get the recognition. So Acura's got a lot of gems. So does Lexus. So does Beamer and Benz. And there's a lot of great gems out there. If you're looking at buying a luxury car on a budget like I do, I don't want to spend big money on a luxury car. I'm like you guys. I like my money. I like having a little extra money in the bank, and instead of blowing it all on a $200,000 luxury car that's going to depreciate like an EQS down, lose 70% of its value in 3 years. I'd rather buy that used version. If you like that car, buy it 2 years off of a lease return and you know, it's got maybe 25,000 miles and you can get that car for half the price. That's how I rock. But anyway, yeah, great to hear from all of you. Again, if you haven't seen the video today, the best affordable, cheap, used luxury cars under 25 grand that still have warranty over on ECPP. Be sure to stop by there. Give it a thumbs up. Give me a shout out there in the comments section too. Say, hey, I was in your live stream. If you want to head on over to that video today over on Exotic Car Play Place, check out my newly released video today about the affordable luxury under 25 grand. Again, I'd love to hear from you over there in the comment section. Do drop a shout out and say, hey, I saw your live stream. And if you don't mind, maybe a like, share, and drop drop a line. I'd like to hear from you over there as well. But what an absolute glorious day. But you know what, guys? I'm actually going to head out this afternoon because I'm going to go test drive something. And it's a fun little car. Bros Landscaping says hi, said hi. Well, welcome and great to have you. Thanks for stopping in. I'm going to go test drive a car this afternoon, actually. And guess what? It's not new. It is older. It's used. But I need something that is going to be kind of cute and quirky. So I'll leave you with that. And maybe you guys can, drop a line over on today's video on Exotic Car Play Place in the comments section. Say, I saw your live stream and I think you're going to go test drive X. Like whatever you think it is, drop a line. DG, hello, Mark. Hey, how's it going? Great to hear from you again. And Noctura Watch Corp says, I was going to with a Lexus RC350, but the Alcantara and the TLX got me. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I love Alcantara. I've got a little bit, too, in my new car. Wish I had a little bit more. I should have spec'd it. I love Alcantara. For those anybody here not know what Alcantara is, that is basically that suede, usually just that gorgeous suede look that they're putting in the high-end cars. I love Alcantara. Top tier Pigeon says Volkswagen GTI reliability. Great stuff. Gearbox, GTI, think dual clutch, think service. You got to service that gearbox. That's something you got to take care of. Manual gearbox is always the best. Engines, carbon fouling, direct injected. That's going to be a thing. But just make sure you do your maintenance on that. Do frequent oil changes, 33,000 to 5,000 miles tops. But they're fun and they're fast, and I love the GTI. I love the Golf R as well. So those are all going to be winners in my book. And they're going to be cars that you're definitely going to want to think about. So, yeah, so I'm going to be going over to test drive a car this afternoon. I want to give it a look. And you guys let me know what you think. Let me think what you're thinking that I'm going to test drive. It's been in a video. I kind of made some fun of it because it looks a little odd. But it's quirky, and I'm going to go test drive that. Bobby De Niro X, hey, great to have you back. Great to have you back. Thanks for stopping in. And I'm going to shout out there, too, a buddy of mine who sold me my latest car. Sean, are you out there? Sean, anywhere? I know you took a jump. You took a leap to the dark side. But Sean, are you out there? Sean, anybody? Rufus the Doofus said hi. Hey, Rufus the Doofus, great to have you back. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi again. I'm glad this is working out. That my last live stream was I was having connectivity issues, but Alexander the Great, I'm trying to decide between the 2019 Q70 and 2019 Lexus GS350 and BMW 540. How would you compare these reliability? Well, without question, the Lexus is going to be the most reliable. I would follow that up probably with the Infiniti and then the BMW for reliability. Now, for fun experience, I would probably go BMW, then Lexus, then Infiniti. But Infiniti kind of has a nicer fit and finish, I feel like, on the interior. So it sort of depends. Do you like the cosmetics? Do you like the performance? Or do you like the reliability? Hope that helps a little bit. Lexus all the way, in my opinion. Top Tier Pigeon says, my friend just bought a 1 Series convertible for $3,000. First gear does not work, and he drives in second gear all the time. BMW things, yeah, it's quirky. But yeah, definitely something. There's always going to be something with these used cars, something to be thinking about. But either way, Alexander, yeah, you betcha. Thanks for sure. So anybody see today's video? Just want to drop that question out there and be sure to send say hi over there on today's release. And yeah, I just got to spray. I'm spraying the old water fountain here today. But yeah, anybody stop over there? Anybody get a chance to see today's video release about the cheapest, affordable, and in most cases reliable luxury cars under 25 grand? Definitely want to go check it out, you guys. Be sure to check that out. It's an absolute little gem. So anyway, you know what I'm going to do? I do appreciate everybody stopping by. With that said, if you could head on over there, be sure to subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, it seems like engagement's the most important thing now. So what I'll just ask you, if you slide on over to Exotic Car Play Place, pick a video. Just go to my main channel, search that in the search bar, and then head on over to ECPP. And if you want to go into one of my latest videos, drop a line in one of the comments section about how you saw my recent video here or my live stream and what car you think I'm going to test drive today. I'd like to hear it from you and whether you're loving the channel. But I'm going to fly. I'm going to get going because those dealerships are going to close soon and I want to get out there before they close. But thanks again so much, everybody. Appreciate you stopping in for the live stream. I'll be sure to get another live stream going very, very soon. I hope you all have an absolute glorious day. And thank you so much out there. Cheers, everybody. And true luxury is, a car that once a week or every other week. Luxury cars can be taken for granted if driven daily. 100%. 100%. Thanks again, everybody. You all have an absolute wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks and take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Cheers, Mark. See you there later. Bye-bye.